Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today's video is going to be something a little bit different, and I have never really done a video similar to this before, so let me know if you guys end up liking it. But I wanted to talk about fragrances that kind of changed the industry. Now, this was kind of overwhelming to think about. I have actually made a video similar to this on TikTok, and it did really well, and I felt like it really opened a conversation in the comments and people were really invested in this video. So I wanted to film it over here. But first of all, I want to say that I'm only featuring 10 fragrances, but of course there are so many fragrances that have been such pivotal moments in the perfume industry. We can use Chanel No. 5 as example. We can use Alien from Mugler, Tom Ford Black Orchid. There are so many. But today I'm just highlighting 10 fragrances that I feel like have kind of pivoted the entire industry in the last 10 or so years. And I really wanted to talk about them today. I feel like all of these fragrances are so popular and very controversial. Either you love them or you hate them, but you cannot deny the success of the following 10 fragrances. Something I did want to touch on as well is how many brands have twisted and copied these DNAs and released it as their own. I think something that a lot of people don't know is how many brands and how many people in the industry take a popular DNA and twist it and release it as their own fragrance. This happens more than you guys would know, and I think it's important to remember that. So let's talk about the OGs right here. Of course, I'm going to start with such a iconic staple masterpiece of a scent, Creed Aventus. Now, love it or hate it, you cannot deny the success of this scent. You cannot deny that this fragrance literally changed and pivoted the entire perfume industry into this DNA. Now, okay, a lot of people think that Creed Aventus is not what it used to be, and I totally understand that, but you have to give it credit. Creed Aventus is really a fantastic, fresh fragrance for a man. This fragrance is loved all over the world. It has been the bestseller from Creed for many years since it was released. There is a fly going around me. You have this beautiful, very fresh, juicy, citrusy fruitiness mixed with this very contrasting birch note, which smells quite leathery and smoky. So the interesting contrast of those two worlds just come together and create something super unique. Like I said, even if you don't like the Aventus that they release now, you cannot deny the previous Aventus batches were absolutely phenomenal at the time. So yeah, Creed Aventus, love it or hate it, it was completely a pivotal fragrance in the industry, and so many people made a twist of this scent and still do to this day. Like even when I go to exhibitions in 2023, 2024, I still go to a brand, smell their fragrance, and you can tell that it's a twist on Aventus. Another fragrance that has been copied, twisted, done so many things to is Erba Pura from Xerjoff. This is a very appealing DNA that so many people copied, and it is a very pivotal scent in the perfume industry. Did it do anything super unique? In my opinion, no, but something about this scent just sold. Like, this fragrance is one of the best-selling niche fragrances, and that is for a reason. It is very catchy. You have some citruses, you have some fruits, you have this dry woodiness going on, and a lot of musk. While this fragrance is not really my taste anymore, and it never really was my favorite fragrance from Xerjoff, you cannot deny that this was a really successful fragrance from Xerjoff, and it still is to this day. It sells super well, and it is a very appealing DNA. It has been copied and twisted and released and sold, and it is really crazy, this scent. So yeah, definitely a very pivotal fragrance that I have personally smelled hundreds of twists of in the industry. And next up, we have Bvlgari's Tygar. Now, I actually bought myself the Bvlgari Tygar, the original. I think it was last year I bought it for myself because I am such a fan of this grapefruit, ginger, and Ambroxan DNA. I really love it myself. I think it is super appealing, really easy to wear, smells super fresh. I absolutely love it, but I have to be honest with you guys, myself, I prefer Vibrato, which is clearly a twist on Bvlgari's Tygar's DNA. Like, it's obvious that they twisted Bvlgari Tygar and released it as Vibrato. They made Vibrato its own thing, but you can tell where the heart and core of that fragrance is, and it is right here. Bvlgari Tygar, like I said, it's a crazy fragrance. Grapefruit, ginger, ambroxan. It's quite dry, but very fresh, very vibrant. And it is just amazing. There is something super addictive about this scent. And in my opinion, this really set a trend for ginger dominant scents. Just off the top of my head, I can already think of about 3 fragrances in my collection that were clearly inspired by the Tygar DNA, which is Vibrato from Sospiro, Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. You have the fragrance from Kajal, I think it might be Kajal 3, which has this ginger like grapefruit DNA. There are so many fragrances that have it now. You have to give credit to the original, which is Bvlgari Tygar, and it is an incredible scent. But like I said, funny enough, usually I like the originals of stuff, but actually I prefer Vibrato in this case. Another fragrance that completely changed the perfume industry is Glossier You. Now, this fragrance has been reformulated over time. I never managed to smell the original Glossier You, but I have a version from, I think, 2 years ago or so, maybe even less than that, a year ago. And I really like this fragrance, and it absolutely started a trend for skin scents. I feel like before Glossier You, skin scents were not really a thing. We did have fragrances back then like Molecule 01, which are this very clean, very straightforward scent profile featuring only one raw material, Isoe Super. We did have eccentric molecules, but then Glossier You came along, and I really feel like it became this global best-selling fragrance, and people fell madly in love with this skin scent genre of fragrances. And from Glossier You, so many brands released a skin scent, copied exactly this sort of scent. I have as well a lot of fragrances in my collection that have the same type of note breakdown as Glossier You, which is pink pepper, musk, iris, ambroxan, etc. And yeah, I really personally love the skin scent DNA. I think it's not going anywhere, and I think we're only going to dive more into skin scents because people really seem to like wearing fragrances that feel like a second skin and don't feel too much like a perfume. Personally, I really love the skin scent genre. I actually find myself never reaching for Glossier You, and in terms of that musky, clean skin scent, my favorite personally is Elikay's Musky, which is obviously as well a little bit inspired by Glossier You, and also something like Le Papier I also reach for quite a lot if I want more of a skin scent. So yeah, this was definitely a pivotal, iconic fragrance in the industry, and you have to give credit where credit is due. Next up, we have a fragrance from Kilian, and it is Love Don't Be Shy. This fragrance is so funny to me because I feel like most people know this fragrance as Rihanna's fragrance actually, but it became so incredibly popular. This very candied, sweet orange blossom fragrance. So many fragrances were inspired by this. I have smelled countless dupes of this, countless interpretations and twists. I'm so tired of it, to be honest with you guys, this sweet orange blossom DNA. And Love Don't Be Shy was definitely the most popular in that category and probably one of the first to do this very sweet candied orange blossom. And to be honest with you guys, I used to not like Love Don't Be Shy, but I recently smelled it on a girl. She was walking in front of me and she was so beautiful. She was with her partner and I guess they looked like they were going on a date or something because they were super dressed up. She was beautiful, her hair, her outfit, her skin, and she was walking in front of me and I got this huge whiff of her perfume. And I know when I smell Love Don't Be Shy because to me it has a very distinct character. I know when I smell Oriana, I know when I smell, I don't know, a bunch of the other copies of this fragrance. She was wearing the original Love Don't Be Shy, and ever since I smelled that on her, I started to wear it a little bit because it smelled so incredible on her skin and she just smelled so feminine. And so I started to wear it a bit, especially layering it with Altair. Amazing combination, and I am actually starting to like this one a bit. It's a very, very kind of tooth-aching sweet orange blossom with marshmallow and vanilla, but it is actually a really, really great fragrance that did set this trend for sweet orange blossom fragrances. Before that, orange blossom was done in more of a fresh way, in more of a bitter, clean, neroli orange blossom type of scent. I didn't really remember smelling any sort of sweet orange blossom fragrances at that time until Love Don't Be Shy. So definitely made waves in the industry and set a trend for this type of DNA. This one is more recent, but wow, the hype with this scent, the love, the passion about this fragrance is crazy. This is Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Barrois. Now, with this fragrance, I really feel like Marc-Antoine and Quentin Biche really explored a totally new direction in perfumery. And if you guys are looking for a very creative, very qualitative brand that is all about the juice, you should definitely check out Marc-Antoine Barrois. I actually had the chance to meet him in person last year during the Cannes Tax Free exhibition, and meeting him was very interesting. You can absolutely tell that this guy is a creative. There is something about meeting people in the perfume industry, especially somebody that's been in the industry for a long time. I can tell when somebody is a business person, and I can tell when somebody is a creative. Marc-Antoine is very, very creative. You can see the way his brain works. You can see that he's truly, truly, truly passionate about creating perfume. And that is where his core is at. And I could really sense that when speaking with him. He didn't care about talking about business or his plans to grow his company. Like, he doesn't care. That was really nice to see, because I do meet a lot of people in the perfume industry that are very much business focused, of growing their brand, of meeting with influencers, of trying to get their brand into a lot of people's hands. Whereas Marc-Antoine Barrois, he felt very just focused on the creative aspect and not really caring about anything else, which I really think is a breath of fresh air. So you can see that in his creations. Ganymede is something that I've never smelled before. To be honest with you guys, I don't love it. I never wear Ganymede. It's not my cup of tea. It's definitely a controversial fragrance that you either love or you hate. And for me, it is too, I don't know, there's something about it. I like it when I smell it like this, and I don't mind smelling it on somebody else, but when I wore it on myself, I was kind of like, no, get this off me, you know, like it was a bit too peculiar for me. So what you have in Ganymede, I think it's like saffron, you have violet. It feels almost salty, like fishy in a way to me, mixed with that overdose of saffron. It's very airy at the same time. It feels extraterrestrial in a way. Is that how you say it? Like, it feels like this is a perfume from another planet to me personally. Like, it smells extremely unique and just very interesting. But you have to give credit where credit is due. He explored a territory that has never been explored before, and he did something totally unique with Ganymede. And that is why I have so much respect for the brand and also this fragrance, because it's something that we've never smelled before. And you cannot imagine how many twists and copies that I've smelled of Ganymede in the last year or so. So many of them, but you have to, once again, respect the original. Ganymede was a trailblazer, and Marc-Antoine is definitely somebody that I'm looking forward to seeing what else he's going to do in the coming years. I already smelled a release that's going to be happening in 2025, and honestly guys, it was one of the craziest fragrances that I've ever tried, and I will talk more about it when obviously it's released, but I cannot wait to get a bottle of the new one. It is wow. Obviously you knew that this one would be here. This is Baccarat Rouge 540 from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Another saffron fragrance that just took the world by storm. I think that Baccarat Rouge 540 is the best-selling niche fragrance. I think it's been like that for a few years now. Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't really looked at any list, but I believe that it's honestly in the top 3 of the best-selling niche fragrances ever. And it is crazy. The impact that this fragrance had on the world is just insane. Like, absolutely insane. It's wow. I remember smelling this for the first time in Australia many years ago, And I remember smelling it. And when I first smelled it, I was like, is this what everyone is saying is like the best fragrance ever? I didn't understand the hype the first time I tried it. Although I did like it, I remember spraying it here and being like, oh, okay, like, is that it? But then I ended up wearing it and experiencing it on the skin and the effect that Baccarat has. And then I did end up falling in love with Baccarat Rouge. It was never my favorite perfume of all time, but I did really enjoy it. Personally, I prefer the X-ray version of Baccarat, but it's still such a phenomenal scent. People fell in love with this fragrance for a lot of different reasons. I think one being the fact that it is so powerful, but you don't feel like it is overwhelming or too strong when you wear it. Baccarat Rouge has something very interesting about it where you kind of go anosmic to it, yet everyone in the room can smell your perfume. I remember several occasions of smelling Baccarat Rouge on somebody and I could smell it everywhere. One time I was at the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi and I remember smelling Baccarat just everywhere in the Louvre, and it was actually just a local woman that was wearing the perfume, but it was everywhere in the museum. Like, that is the effect that this perfume has. But not only that, it obviously has a very catchy DNA with lots of saffron. You have some amber wood, so it feels quite sweet. You also have some jasmine, and it's just a beautiful scent. To me, I get a kind of soft, airy, sweet, woody fragrance, and it's really special. I personally really like Baccarat Rouge, but I don't wear it anymore because of how popular it has become and how many twists there are on the market today. Cloud from Ariana Grande, Burberry Her from Burberry. You have so many Oud for Greatness from Innisfree is actually a twist on this one. There is so many perfumes that have been inspired and twisted to this scent, and for me, I think, you know, there has to be an end to that at some point. So Baccarat Rouge, amazing fragrance, definitely pivoted the entire perfume industry, and it is, I think it's gonna be the Chanel No. 5 of our generation, if I'm gonna be honest. Another fragrance that totally shook the perfume industry is Delina from Parfums de Mali. Now, this fragrance I have been wearing for many, many years. I don't wear it so much anymore, but whenever I smell it, I still love this fragrance, and it takes my breath away as being one of the most beautiful feminine fragrances that I've ever tried. It's a gorgeous, tart, plush rose fragrance with some lychee and rhubarb. The lychee brings something sparkling and a little bit fruity. The rhubarb is super interesting because it feels almost sour in a way, mixed with that peony and rose combination. And it's just so gorgeous, you guys. Like, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous perfume. I went through multiple bottles of Delina when I was younger, and I was wearing it so much in Australia, and I just love this fragrance. I really do love it, even still to this day, although I don't wear it so much. But this fragrance absolutely changed the perfume industry. It really opened a new direction of the lychee rose peony combo, and the amount of twists that I've smelled on this, I am so sick of it, you guys. Like, I don't know about you, but I smell so many twists of Delina on like a daily basis that it drives me crazy, because I think that, you know, this fragrance was released many years ago now. I think it was released in 2017, somewhere around there. So it's been a long time, and I feel like people are still trying to copy that rose lychee DNA, and I think it just needs to be closed off now. Beautiful perfume by Quentin Biche. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance that really set the trend and the tone for rose, peony, and lychee scents. So yeah, this is where it all started. The OG for me is the best. I never really tried a twist on Delina that I liked more. I really feel like Delina has a special place in the perfume industry, and for me, it really is the best in that direction. Okay, and then I have two fragrances that I don't actually own, but the first one is Santal 33 from Labo. Absolutely a trailblazer. Personally, I don't love Santal 33. I can appreciate it, and I actually really enjoy smelling it on somebody else, but it's just not my cup of tea. Santal 33, like all of the fragrances in this video, is very, very polarizing. Either you're going to love it and find it to be the most gorgeous fragrance that you've ever smelled and want it to be your signature scent, or you're like me and you do not like it. I find the sandalwood in the fragrance to be just a very odd sandalwood. For me, it smells very much like cypriol oil. It smells really green and like oily. It's just not my cup of tea. but I do totally understand the hype with that scent. Once again, it's the sort of fragrance that just explodes into the room when you walk in there. It has such a distinct character, and so many people have tried to copy and twist it. Yet for me, I know when I smell the original Santal 33 because it definitely is the best in that category, and it really has this very special DNA, and I absolutely respect the fragrance. I think it is gorgeous, but it's just not my personal cup of tea. Maybe it would change though, because my taste has really changed over time. Like for instance, now I really like Chanel No. 5, so maybe I'll end up liking Santal 33, but as of right now, it's just not my thing. But it definitely is a trailblazer, and so many people tried to copy it, and Santal 33 is the best. Finally, the last fragrance that I wanted to highlight today is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Tom Ford in general, I feel like, is quite a trailblazer sort of brand. I would also say the same about Mugler, but not the Mugler in 2025. The Mugler back many, many years ago was a very trend-setting brand. Tom Ford, I would say the same, maybe less now. Again, maybe more in the last years. But Lost Cherry absolutely set the trend of cherry. You can deny it, but cherry was never super relevant until Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, and it totally shook the perfume industry, and everybody started to jump on a trend of releasing cherry scents. Everybody started to do it, everybody started to copy it, but Lost Cherry was the original. I really like Lost Cherry. I just never could justify the price of that fragrance, especially when I have a lot of other cherry fragrances that I really enjoy wearing. But just going off of the scent, I really love the smell of Lost Cherry. Would I ever own it? I'm not sure. If I found like a really cheap price, maybe I would get a bottle, but it's just super, super expensive for what it is. But you cannot deny that Tom Ford was the one who really set that global trend for cherry fragrances. So you have to respect it. It is a great fragrance. Longevity is not the best, but it is a really great cherry scent that totally shook the perfume industry. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video on the perfumes that I think have changed the industry. Like I said at the beginning, there is obviously a lot more perfumes, like I said, from Mugler, from Tom Ford, from Jean Paul Gaultier, from Narciso Rodriguez. There's so many, but I just wanted to highlight a couple today in this video that I really think changed the perfume industry. Let me know, guys, what do you think changed the perfume industry? What do you think is the most pivotal trailblazing scent of the last couple of years? And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I love you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.